Picture this. You've been grinding for 3 years straight. Your physique is sculpted from consistent gym sessions. Your business hit multiple six figures last year. You're driving a luxury car that turns heads. Your wardrobe could be in a magazine spread. On paper, you're everything women supposedly want. But here's what's actually happening. When you talk to women, something feels completely off. They're polite, but not passionate. They'll accept your dinner invitations but never text first. You're constantly initiating while they stay emotionally distant. Just lukewarm. Meanwhile, there's your buddy. Lives in a cramped studio. Drives a beat-up Honda with a cracked windshield. Zero impressive credentials. Yet women are absolutely obsessed with him. They blow up his phone at 2 a.m. They compete for his attention like it's a limited resource. They'll rearrange their entire schedule just to see him for 20 minutes. And you're sitting there thinking, what the hell does he have that I don't? Here's the truth that's going to sting. Everything you've learned about attraction is completely backwards. The exact qualities you think make you attractive are actually killing women's desire for you. And the secret to becoming irresistible, it has nothing to do with your achievements, and everything to do with something you've been ignoring your entire life. Today, I'm revealing the hidden psychology behind why women become obsessed with certain men, while completely ignoring others who seem objectively better on every level. But real talk, this will shatter everything you believe about attraction, success, and your own self-worth. Once you understand this, you can never go back to seeing things the old way. Stay locked in, because what you're about to learn changes everything. Let's start by destroying the biggest lie society has sold you about attraction. You've been convinced that female desire works like a video game achievement system. Unlock enough achievements, six-pack abs, six-figure income, social status, and women will automatically unlock attraction for you. Level up externally, win the game. This is the exact blueprint they've programmed into your head. Get ripped, make money, develop charisma, learn game, demonstrate your value through your accomplishments, and women will fall for you. Simple cause and effect, right? Wrong, dead wrong. I used to be that guy. I'd casually drop my business success into conversations, wear my Rolex a little too obviously, make sure she knew about my car. I was playing the achievement showcase game. And you know what happened? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Women were impressed, but not attracted. There's a massive difference. Here's the brutal truth they don't tell you. Women aren't attracted to your resume. They're attracted to your energy. They don't fall for what you have. They fall for who you are when nobody's watching, when there's nothing to prove, when the mask comes off. The most powerful attractive quality you can possibly develop has zero connection to your bank account, your body fat percentage, or your Instagram follower count. It's something infinitely more rare. And honestly, most men will never develop it because they're too busy collecting external validation like Pokemon cards. Let me show you exactly what I mean, because this next concept will completely flip your understanding of attraction. Here's the game-changing concept: perceived value differential. Women only develop deep, consuming attraction when they perceive your value as significantly higher than their own. But, and this is crucial, value isn't determined by objective measurements like your income or jawline. It's determined purely by perception. And perception? That's controlled entirely by your internal state, not your external achievements. Let me paint you a picture that'll make this crystal clear. You're at a house party with about 15 people. One guy there is a literal tech millionaire. Perfect physique, designer clothes, drove up in a Porsche. Another guy? He's a bartender. Drives a 2008 Civic, wearing a plain t-shirt and jeans. Someone makes a comment about the music. The bartender responds with this perfectly timed, effortlessly witty comeback. Not trying to be funny, not seeking laughs or validation. Just completely comfortable and authentic, saying exactly what he thinks with zero filter. In that single moment, every woman at that party will feel stronger attraction toward the bartender than the millionaire. Every single one. Why? Because he just demonstrated higher perceived value through his internal state. His confidence wasn't conditional on external validation. It was just there, unshakable, real. This is what 95% of men completely misunderstand. Perceived value is about energy, not inventory. It's about how you carry yourself, not what you're carrying in your wallet. A man with authentic internal confidence will always, and I mean always, outrank a man with impressive external achievements who lacks that foundation. The external stuff is just decoration. The internal state is the actual structure. Within the first 30 seconds of meeting you, a woman has already categorized you. She's placed you in one of two mental boxes, above me or below me in terms of value. This isn't conscious. She's not sitting there with a spreadsheet calculating your net worth. Her brain is running this assessment on autopilot, reading your energy and asking subconscious questions. Does this guy know his own worth? Is he seeking my approval right now? Does he need me to validate him? Is he comfortable in his own skin or performing for me? If she perceives you as higher value, boom, attraction process initiates. If she perceives you as lower value, game over, no matter how impressive your LinkedIn profile looks. Here's the part that'll mess with your head. The men who try hardest to impress women automatically place themselves in the below me category. When you're actively working to prove your worth, you're unconsciously broadcasting a message. I don't believe I have inherent value, so I need to convince you I do. That's the kiss of death for attraction. You just communicated that you're below her, even if you make 10 times her salary. Meanwhile, the guy who's not trying to impress anyone, who's just genuinely comfortable existing in his own space, who doesn't need her approval to feel good about himself, he automatically signals higher value. He gets placed in the above me category, and her interest intensifies immediately. The game is rigged, but not in the way you think. It's rigged in favor of internal state over external achievement. Most guys are playing the wrong game entirely. Nothing, and I mean nothing, kills attraction faster than seeking validation. When you need her compliments, her attention, her approval to feel good about yourself, you've entered what I call the validation death spiral. And brother, it's nearly impossible to escape once you're in it. This is why you see so many objectively successful men completely struggling with women. They've built these impressive external lives, great careers, nice bodies, social status, but they still desperately need others to validate those achievements to feel worthy. They're like successful beggars. They have a lot to offer, but they're still out there begging for approval. And women can smell that neediness from a mile away. I remember when I first made good money, I'd find ways to let women know, not obviously, I wasn't that guy handing out business cards, but I'd subtly steer conversations toward my success. Yeah, I just got back from this business trip to Miami, trying to prove myself. And you know what vibe that gave off? Insecurity wrapped in a humble brag. Here's what actually works. Men who create genuine attraction are completely self-validated. They know their worth without needing anyone to confirm it. They can receive a compliment without getting attached to it. They can receive criticism without being destroyed by it. This self-validation is intoxicating to women because it's so incredibly rare. We live in a world where everyone's desperately scrolling for likes, seeking approval, needing external confirmation that they matter. When you encounter someone who genuinely doesn't need your approval, who's just solid in themselves, it immediately elevates their status in your mind. You start wondering, what does this person know that I don't? That's the energy that creates obsession. Most men spend their entire lives building external value while their internal foundation crumbles. They're like construction workers building a skyscraper on quicksand. Doesn't matter how impressive the building looks, it's going to sink. Here's a thought experiment. Give a guy $10 million, perfect abs, celebrity status, and model-level looks. If his internal state is still insecure and validation-seeking, he'll remain fundamentally unattractive to quality women. He might attract gold diggers or people who want access to his resources. But genuine desire? Not happening. Now flip it. Take a guy with average external circumstances, regular job, normal body, basic lifestyle, but give him bulletproof internal confidence and genuine self-acceptance. Women will compete for that guy's attention. The difference? Women respond to energy, not assets. They fall in love with how you make them feel, not what you can buy them. When your confidence comes from external achievements, it's fragile. It depends on maintaining those achievements. Lose the money, lose the body, lose the status. Your confidence collapses with it. But when your confidence comes from genuine self-acceptance, from internal peace and knowing your inherent worth, that's unshakable. It can't be taken from you because it doesn't depend on anything external. Here's a brutal test for you right now. If everything you've built disappeared tomorrow, your money, your status, your possessions, your achievements, would you still feel worthy of love and respect? If you hesitated even for a second, you're building on the wrong foundation, and women can sense that instability in your energy, even if they can't articulate why you feel off to them. Time to rebuild from the ground up. One of the most attractive things you can develop, and this sounds simple but it's rare as hell, is the ability to be completely present. Most guys are mentally living everywhere except the current moment. They're replaying past failures, worrying about future outcomes, strategizing their next move, thinking about what to say next while she's still talking. They're having a conversation with someone, but they're not actually there. And women feel that absence. They feel like you're treating them as an obstacle to overcome rather than a human to connect with. When you can be genuinely present, fully listening, authentically engaged, comfortable with silence, not performing or strategizing, you create this magnetic pull that draws people in. Try this experiment. In your next conversation with anyone, focus entirely on them. Don't plan your response while they're talking. Don't check your phone. Don't let your mind wander to what you need to do later. Just be completely there with them. Watch what happens. The energy shifts immediately. People lean in. They become more animated. They feel valued in a way that's become incredibly rare. This presence communicates several things simultaneously. You're confident enough to not need constant mental stimulation. You're secure enough to not worry about controlling outcomes. You value the person in front of you enough to give them something nobody gives anymore: undivided attention. Most conversations today are just two people waiting for their turn to talk. When you actually listen and respond from genuine curiosity rather than rehearsed strategy, you stand out dramatically. Presence is power, and in a distracted world, it might be the most attractive quality you can develop. Real talk. Most of your goals aren't actually yours. They've been programmed into you. Why do you want abs? Why do you want a luxury car? Why do you want to hit a certain income level? If you dig deep and answer honestly, it's probably because society told you these things equal worth, success, attractiveness. You're chasing other people's definitions of success, and wondering why you still feel empty when you achieve them. Here's your homework, and I'm serious about this. List your top 5 goals right now. For each one, ask yourself, why do I want this? Then ask why again and again. Keep digging until you hit the actual root. You might discover you're spending years chasing things you don't even genuinely care about. You're playing a game someone else designed, trying to win prizes you don't actually want. The men who create genuine attraction have deprogrammed themselves from this matrix. They've sat down and figured out what they actually value, what actually matters to them, independent of social conditioning. They live according to their authentic values. They pursue interests they genuinely care about. They define success on their own terms. And this authenticity, it's magnetic. Because in a world full of programmed NPCs following the same script, someone living authentically stands out like a beacon. Women aren't attracted to your achievements. They're attracted to your authenticity, to the sense that you know who you are and you're not apologizing for it or performing it for approval. Stop chasing what you're supposed to want. Figure out what you actually want. That's where real confidence comes from. Here's something that'll probably piss you off at first. When sex becomes your primary goal with women, you've already lost all your power. Think about the logic. If your happiness, your self-worth, your emotional state depends on whether she sleeps with you, you've made her the gatekeeper of your entire emotional reality. She controls whether you feel good or bad about yourself. And women, they can sense that desperation immediately. It's like a frequency you're broadcasting. When they know sex is what you're really after, they understand they have complete leverage over you. But here's where it gets interesting. When sex isn't your primary focus, when you're genuinely enjoying the connection, the conversation, the moment itself, you maintain your power. You're not dependent on a specific outcome, which paradoxically makes her way more likely to want that outcome. Most guys won't believe this until they experience it. But sometimes the most attractive thing you can do is turn down sex. When you can decline opportunities because you're not in the right headspace, or because you want to build more genuine connection first, or just because you don't feel like it, you demonstrate a level of abundance and self-control that's incredibly rare. This sends a clear message. I have options. I'm not desperate. I value more than just physical gratification. You can't manipulate me with sex as leverage. All of those signals are extremely attractive. They communicate high value without you having to say a word. The man who's willing to walk away from what he wants is always the man everyone wants, because walking away means you're not controlled by it. And not being controlled by outcomes, that's true power. At the core of masculine attractiveness is something simple but powerful: emotional stability. This is your ability to remain calm, centered, and grounded regardless of what's happening around you. Not suppressing emotions. That's different. I'm talking about not being emotionally reactive. Not being controlled by external circumstances. When you can maintain your internal state regardless of how she treats you, what she says, whether she texts back, how she tests you, you demonstrate the kind of strength that women find absolutely irresistible. You become like a rock in a storm, solid, reliable, unshakable. While everything around you is chaos, you remain centered. And here's why this matters so much. Women are attracted to stability because it makes them feel safe. Not physically safe, emotionally safe. Safe to be vulnerable. Safe to be themselves. Safe to let their guard down. Most men's emotional states are completely controlled by external events. She doesn't text back fast enough. His mood crashes. She laughs at his joke. He's flying high. She seems distant. He's anxious and needy. That emotional roller coaster is exhausting and unattractive. It communicates that you're not in control of yourself. which means you definitely can't handle her emotions when she's going through something. But a man who stays grounded regardless of circumstances, who maintains his center even when tested, that's magnetic. Developing this requires real inner work, meditation, therapy, journaling, physical discipline. Whatever helps you find that internal anchor that can't be moved by external storms. The goal is reaching a point where nothing outside of you can shake your inner calm. That's when you become truly attractive. That's when women start chasing you instead of the other way around. Men and women experience attraction completely differently, and understanding this changes everything. Men are primarily visual. We see an attractive woman and boom, instant physical attraction. It's simple, direct, biological. Women, they're primarily emotional. They're attracted to how you make them feel, not primarily how you look. This is why you see women obsessed with guys who aren't conventionally handsome, while remaining completely cold toward very attractive men who don't trigger the right emotions. This is why romance novels, literal words on a page with zero visuals, can turn women on. Because the emotions, the tension, the psychological dynamics described in those books trigger attraction in a way that pure visual stimulation doesn't.